Can't
What
catch
is
me too quick. Can't catch
what
me.
is what is up, everybody? Welcome to Middle Age Apocalypse. I am Greg. This is Hans.
Spock,
Um,
what up?
w-
SR-72. Get into some weird Woo! Mach
wel
5. See ya. That's what's
welcome
up.
to episode 14 of Middle
Holy
Age Apocalypse. Yeah, dude.
ah.
Um, yeah. So first things first. Um, I reached out to a company. So we do have a discount code here for Dubby energy drinks.
All right, I was about to be super inappropriate, but yeah, do your thing. Dubby!
Dubby. If you
Woo!
go to dubby.gg and use code MAAP, Middle Age Apocalypse Podcast. That's what that stands for. Code MAAP and get 10% off your first order.
That's right.
Let's just get into this real quick since this is brand new. Dubby is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics, which is good for you. We formulated Dubby for anyone who wants to focus without jitters or crash, and it's
That's right.
powder. So you scoop 6 to 8 ounces cold water, scoop some of this in there, and they have shakers on their website. So you get a shaker, shake that sucker up.
I looked into it too. If you get gut rot and caffeine and coffee doesn't sit right with you, green tea, all the above, normal kinds of caffeine is different. It's kind of like a ginseng. So it doesn't like give you that gut rot, like that, upheaving feeling where you have like heartburn. So
Right.
he's not giving you just the run of the mill explanation. It's a different formula that legit works. It's a
Well, yeah,
alternative energy source. Yeah.
it says right here they pride themselves on actually developing a clean energy formula that is free from fillers, maltodextrin, and artificial colorings. So
Uh huh.
they're not using that filler.
It's similar to like the new age. Not typically. You can microdose all you want. Do your thing. No one cares. But um, the mushroom blends, all the different teas and alternative coffees that people are putting out these days. It's similar to that, but as Greg said, everyone. We're all different, so it might work for you, it might not. So don't get mad at us if it doesn't,
But
because
use our coupon code MAAP and you can try it out
absolutely,
10% off. There you go.
yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. That's what I'm saying. All our chemistry is different. I mean, when I was younger, I was a power lifter, and certain proteins and certain creatine. I never around with steroids or anything like that. I was always just protein, but everyone's different. So you might feel an energy boost from it. You might not. It is what it is. But that's why we are what we are. It's an open market. So you try something. If it doesn't work, then you try something else. So we're not dragging on you to whatever. Just soak it up. Just, give it a shot. See if it works. That's all it
Try it
is.
out. Gotta try
Yeah,
it out.
that's right.
DUBBY.GG, code MAAP. Try that. So what's
I
up,
haven't
buddy?
even tried it, to be honest, because I'm a lunatic anyways. Once I'm awake, and I want to break everything and like tear all the walls apart. So I'm kind of like a mental case, but yeah, it might work for you. I look at caffeine or people waiting in line at Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, you're paying $4 for that garbage? Oh, okay. something's not really working up in here. You know, whatever. But anyhow,
Hey,
sorry.
how's your signal, your video quality just died?
And fade to blackout. How's that? Is it better?
Hey, actually, it did get better, yeah.
All right, there we go.
Nice. That's funny.
Yeah, they're connected. What you got? What you got? Bring it on. Come on, bruh. Come on,
Well,
bruh.
I kind of wanted to keep it familiar this time around and just kind of talk about our lives, but I did want to.
Oh, no. What? I gotta cut you off. I have to cut you off. Have to. Because anyone that gives a shit about either of us should know that yesterday was Greg and Christie's 17th anniversary. And I tried to do a short, but I am technologically altered. I'm not good with it. So I wasn't able to upload it. But that's why we weren't here yesterday as a duo. But we're back in action. So everyone, 17 years, man. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's pretty
I
wild. Time
I haven't
flies.
even seen that suit. I spent that was a $2,000 suit, bro, that I wore in your wedding party, right? That was it. Gangster. It was black with red pinstripes, like maroon red pinstripes. And my stepmom, going through my dad's after he died, she just gave it away to
Oh
Goodwill. I
no.
was like, oh my. I only got to wear a $2,000 suit once. She just gave it. I was like, Bev, are you serious? She was like, that was yours? And I'm like, what? It wasn't cool enough for you? And she was like, it just looked like something Michael would never wear. And I'm like, you mean like the entire wardrobe I'm bringing home with me of the you bought for him at like Nantucket Nectar or whatever the fuck? Whatever. Anyways, 17 years, Greg and Christy. I tried to do a short for y'all, but I'm not technologically inclined any longer, I suppose. Unless it's like Power Tool or the RC truck or whatever. I did go on a good rant about RC trucks last night. I don't know. People might like that. But maybe that'll come out of the archives at some point. But anyways, I just had to interrupt. So Greg and Christie, 17 years. Right, that's dope.
Thank you,
So
buddy.
yeah, brother. Yeah. So continue. I didn't mean to rudely interrupt. I just had to because that had to be mentioned, and it's like get it out of the way, you know. Because everyone's like, "Oh, I just broke up with my girlfriend. You, 15 years. I'm gonna be negative and hate everything." It's like, come on. So it might as well, just knock it out of the park at the start of the pod. I'll shut up. I'll shut up now.
I just had to flick through my I kept seeing downloads at the top of my phone, and for some reason Netflix was auto downloading like a bunch of shows. Like I canceled one and then another popped up. Like that happened like 6 times. I'm like, why? What is that?
Why
So
would it be? Dude, I thought buffering was like a thing of the past. Like it was actually buffering.
um yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it was a big file, but I never asked it to auto download anything. So I don't know why it was doing that.
That was like the thing when we were like super poor back in like 2010 to be like, oh, let's just go, whatever. We'll burn one and go downtown and grab a drink and you know hit the bathroom and yeah. At that point, the new episode of Justified might be fully buffered, or whatever, the new Bill Burr special. But the buffering doesn't even that's not even a thing anymore.
Didn't matter if you were
You,
poor or not,
for
though.
that,
That's all. That's the only option you had back then.
dude, 12, 15 years ago, that was the best. And now it's like, you just get the pinwheel. You just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. Doesn't give you an option to hit pause. So it just shows you that load bar. Like, oh, buffering, buffering, buffering. Doesn't happen anymore. It's just pinwheel of
Well,
nothingness.
I do
Watch
get it.
this and lose your fucking mind. I
Yeah,
I don't get
I
it.
I
It's the
do get it on some of these Netflix downloads because we've downloaded shit in the past, like when we go to the lake.
you're right.
Um, and sometimes if it's a big file, like a full movie or a full season of shows,
Yeah.
it'll download like 8 episodes, and I think they usually do it in HD. So I have had some buffering issues
Yeah.
with Netflix before, but
Did you guys ever watch uh, Mr. In Between?
it sounds so familiar.
He's
I don't know.
it's an Australian show, and it's around surrounds the dude Ray. He's like a hitman, ex-military bad motherfucker that doesn't take shit from anyone, and he's hilarious. But he's just that cheeky, like always got a grin on his face. But you fuck with me, you're going down. He's that type, like dude, so good,
That's
so
a
good.
series.
Yeah, they only did like 3 seasons. And he
Hmm.
wrote and produced all of it. I don't know why they only did 3 seasons. It's kind of like what's the one, was it HBO that did the one with Bill Hader where Barry, where he's Bill Hader's a
Right.
hitman, and he
Hmm.
the way he like blends into societies, joins that acting group or whatever with that chick that he's all into or whatever. But
Right.
supposedly they're coming out with a 4th season, but that was a wicked good show too. And his like boss, well, not really his boss, kind of his partner, the guy that set up the jobs and the hits that he was supposed to do was the dude that played the guy with the goofy middle aged guy, heavy set guy with the glasses and dodgeball.
I don't
Yeah, total
know.
goofball. But I, dude, that show is like those were two of my favorite like dark comedy shows. I don't understand why these shows just only go for like 3 seasons these days, and then they just throw in the towel. It's like, what? Why?
They probably don't get enough. Shows like that always tend to get better ratings, like when they're replay, like as reruns. Like they become
Yeah,
like a cult classic.
well, that's what we're all hoping is that Netflix will kind of revive those because Netflix bought the rights to both of those shows, I believe. So, and they're known for reverberating or reviving rather, um, or series as such. So,
True.
hopefully that happens. I cross my heart and hope to die because I lost my faith in humanity when Marvel got sold to Netflix, and Netflix basically sold out to Disney and then subsequently gave up on uh, literally like almost brings me to tears that they just like ended those all those different series. Punisher, Daredevil, what's her name? Jessica something or other, and all those series, man. Those made the years from 2017 to 2020. In terms of like, I don't really know how to put it. I guess like indie culture film, if you will, that was like really dark, kind of its own category that you couldn't control.
Yeah.
It just those all those series just became what they were. And for me, well, and you guys being Marvel lunatics, well, I might be more of one than you are. I don't know. Like, were you more into DC, if I remember correctly, or were you a Marvel lunatic like me?
Yeah, we've discussed how I stopped watching the Marvel movies. I
Right.
have tended to watch the DC ones though, because they don't come out as often and they're always a little more obscure. I'm really a fan of the Deadpool series for sure.
Yeah. 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 But Dead, well,
Deadpool's
Dead.
the only Marvel that I've really made an effort to watch.
Mm. But didn't on my behalf, just because I kept annoying you about it, didn't you watch The Punisher, the 2 seasons that they did?
I did watch that show, yeah. Feels like I don't remember it at all because it was so long ago. But yeah,
That's a
I did.
good thing. I'm jealous because I've watched it a million times and I wish I could say the same thing because fucking that is there's no one that can beat that character. John Bernthal is just unreal. And then you also did, as I told you to, because I said you had to understand the character. You watch some of the Daredevil, right? When he's in prison with Kingpin, and Kingpin puts uh, the Punisher up to murdering that whole branch of convicted gangsters. And I don't know, maybe you didn't see that, but you should.
Daredevil I did watch for quite a while. What I guess that
That
was
would be
when
season two. It was
Netflix was young, right? When Netflix was first streaming, that was one of their first series, wasn't
no, Daredevil came out in like 2017,
it? Okay. That's not
but
that long ago, I guess.
they only started streaming in 2014. What, their first show was Lilyhammer,
Oh,
the
right.
one with um
The
what's
guy
his name?
from Sopranos. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That was a
Vidi?
great show. I love that show. That was
No.
literally the first streaming show from a streaming company, which is really cool to think about. I can only imagine, what's his name? Chaz Palminteri? Is that the right actor?
I'm not sure.
Either way, I mean, like you do something like that, that's like groundbreaking. I can only imagine the royalties he gets for that shit. I haven't seen him in anything since then. Have you? I mean, they did what,
I
four
don't.
seasons, and it's like, boom, done. I'm retired.
I did see him in some. I think he's on another show, but I can't remember what show. Pretty sure it's another Netflix
What the fuck was his
series.
name in The Sopranos? They always called him by his nick. Oh, he was
Sal, right?
Pussy. He was
No.
Pussy.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
No. I think he was set because Pussy, Pussy gets killed pretty early on.
Was Pussy the big chef dude that they threw off the back of Tony's yacht there,
Yes.
right off the Jersey Shore?
Oh,
What was the name of the yacht? Stugatz. Stugatz. That was the name of his yacht. That's right. That's right. Shit, I gotta rewatch The Sopranos. I don't know how I'm remembering all these fucking annoying Italian names.
Salvatore Bonpensiero.
Yeah. What was
Uh,
his name in Lilyhammer?
let's see. Uh, oh no, that's Big Pussy. It's the wrong guy. The Sopranos. Let's do this. IMDb. Okay.
Oh, I mixed them up because they're like the same height, same jaw, same hair. Chaz Palmintero is the dude from A Bronx Tale and Pool Hall Junkies. He was Johnny's backer man before Christopher Walken stepped in to be his backer man. Pool Hall Junkies is one of my favorite movies of all time. That
Right.
bitch,
So
unreal.
he looks so weird in this picture, but we're talking about Silvio.
Silvio, yeah. Silvio with his huge bottom lip hanging down with his slick back hair. Big old.
Steven Van Zant is his name.
Yes! Yes! Yep, Stevie Van Zandt. Dude, you know
Lillehammer,
what?
his name was Frank Francesco Tagliano.
Tagliano, that's it. Yeah. You know what a lot of people don't know about that dude? Is that before he was an actor, he's like a really good musician.
Is
He's
he?
he's nasty at guitar. He's a good singer. He's
No
like,
shit.
dude,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I guess I've heard that because Van Zant is his relatives are in a band, right?
yeah, yep,
Is that his
yeah. No,
brother or something?
he just he just had the looks and whatever it was, 20. Yeah,
Oh,
very
he's a member of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. I didn't know that.
boom. Told you, motherfucker.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
wild.
dude. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You watch old videos, you see him like all hippied out with a big old like goofy goofy tie dye bandana just ripping on the guitar.
Well,
Dude, it's
he's old.
What time is it? It's
Old in this picture wearing a black bandana. That's why I didn't recognize him because I couldn't see his hair.
right. But that's like similar to Steve. Well, of course now I can't remember his last name because I was starting to get excited. But you get the point. Like you can look up pictures of him uh 50 years ago with Santana in the 70s playing side by side, ripping on the guitar, side by side, just totally hippied out 70s like disco clothes, looking all goofy as fuck, dude. It's so weird like how their directions went in terms of their profession. You know what I mean? Like
That's cool.
it really is cool in that sense. It really is cool. I mean, because like, what's his name? Who was the dude that played Tony
Oh,
Soprano?
Gal, Gal, uh,
James Gandolfini.
Gandolfini. Yeah.
James Gandolfini. Yeah, he was like the same way. He was before they turned him into some HBO gangster. I'm pretty sure that what didn't he do mostly like Broadway?
I'm pretty sure he did some Broadway, and he was doing a lot of like Hallmark style movies and shit.
Right. like nothing that we would go out of our way to watch, basically.
Right.
We're like, yeah, okay, if people aren't dying or there's no explosions or gunshots or yeah. Yeah.
Have you noticed how? Have you watched The Penguin at all on HBO?
I haven't. I was about to start it.
You
I
should.
was about
It's very It's very. There's a lot of stuff that they grabbed from Sopranos. It's very Soprano-like. It's
I know
really
the
good.
word you were looking for and it was juxtaposed.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to use it in that when I was talking in that context.
It's
But that
like
is the word I was
there's a
looking for.
fine yin and yang
Yeah,
that
there's a lot of
he
juxtaposition between the two
yeah,
shows for sure.
yeah. So what in what way though?
'Cause it's straight up a gangster show. Like, I watched the whole season. Batman's not in it at all. It's straight up like the um, it's basically Penguin trying to get a foothold in the and become the boss, essentially.
The craziest thing about Oscobb's character in The Penguin is that he's kind of making it all up as he goes along. He comes up with all of these elaborate, devious plans where he's deceiving like multiple crime families and pitting them against one another. But at the same time, all of these plans are constantly failing. And so there's a way in which he's kind of an incompetent buffoon. But he's also got this genius for improvisation. And every time his plan melts before his eyes in the thick of some critical moment, or every time he gets caught, he just barely wiggles his way out of the snares of his own machinations, and he comes up with some new crazy plan on the fly, and he executes it perfectly at the very last moment right before he's about to get got. And you'd think that all of this would make for some kind of suspenseful thriller type of viewing experience, but it feels more to me like a comedy than suspense or a thriller. And to be clear, that's not a bad thing by any means, and it's got a lot to do with what makes Oz Cobb such a great character, because as far as I can tell, he doesn't really seem to experience fear, or at least that's not something that I can see in his eyes. And instead, he just kind of revels in the chaotic process of his own manipulations. And that revelry is infectious. And to me, that's what turns the whole show into a comedy.
Is he so because with
It
all the variations of Batman,
it
is
takes
he
place right after the last Batman movie that was with Robert Pattinson.
who the fuck is Robert Pattinson?
The guy from Twilight.
Never saw Twilight.
Um, that's what he's famous from. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if you watched that. It's called The Batman, I think.
Well, what I was basically asking is like, is this Penguin character does he head up Falcone or is he under Falcone from Batman Begins?
No. So currently he's not a made man yet, but he's
But is
worked.
Falcone is that the Falcone character a part of it?
Yes, that's the whole family that he works for. Um,
Okay, so that's cool. So he's like an underboss of Falcone from Batman Begins.
he was the he was
Dude,
the daughter's driver, and he worked his way up to become an underboss, essentially. Yeah.
you're a dick. You just ruined my night. I'm not going to bed until like 6 in the morning. Just binge that shit. How many episodes are there in the first season?
I think there's 8, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh, but it's like every Sunday it comes out. So actually,
like Tulsa King.
there's only like 5 out so far, I think. Something like that.
So you're caught up on Tulsa King?
No, I'm only 2 episodes in.
Ah, isn't it? You gotta that I talked about that in the short that I failed to produce last night correctly. Isn't it just wild how unbelievably fit, astute, smart, and ready to go that Sylvester Stallone is? 78 fucking years old. I mentioned that in the last podcast, and then I looked it up to make sure that he was actually 78. But that still deserves extra gratuity. I mean, dude, that dude could beat the shit out of both of us at the same time. He's 78, guy.
Yeah.
He's like 5'7", and he'd just be like, "Hey, you two clowns, you need a punch in the chin, and I'll get fucking bam, wham." Would you? You and I would just be like, "Bro, I think I'm still alive. Dude, where's your phone? Call a cab." Like, dude, that guy is a fucking animal. It's just, so you got to bring it back because me and my buddy Simon stopped over and had a few PBRs with Simon the other night, sitting in the garage, and his old man came out, and Joe's almost 80. He's like 79, 80. But he's just like this little, like, gruff monkey. He's got this full head. Their last name is Dorico. He's just this gruff little old Italian man. But, he grew up here. He never spent a day in fucking Italy. But he's just got this full, like, chimpanzee head of hair, just like Simon. Simon's fucking 43 now. But it's just funny because we were talking about this shit, and what was it? I gotta leave my phone off because it's fucking up the iPad. I can't remember what Stallone's middle name is, but he comes out to light up his stogie. He's like the grandfather from Christmas Vacation. He's just got his stogie, and he'll like come out and light his stogie and take a couple drags off it and tell you a story about the 70s or whatever. The guy's hilarious. But he was saying the same thing. He's like, they don't make us like they used to. It's like, look at me. The guy rebuilt half my house by myself. Fucking 80 years old. He's like, he just went off on a tangent. And to be honest, it was adorable and it was super respectable. And there was nothing you could argue about it. He's like, look at fucking Clint Eastwood. He produced like 3 movies that were top sellers in his 90s. Guy's fucking like 95. Who's going to keep up with him? It's like, who's going to argue with that? You can't. He's 100% right, dude. I mean, actually, look that up. Is Clint Eastwood still alive? He's my favorite actor ever,
I think
so
so.
I hope so, because they keep doing those deep fakes about, these old actors, like, oh, they're dead. They've done it like 19 times to Morgan Freeman. It's kind of shameful, really. No, your screen.
It says he is 94 years old.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything about him dying, so.
He's just like such an animal.
He's
But
got a movie coming up called Juror Number 2. Comes out this year.
I just wish, I've always wished that they would do a sequel to Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, where it was they lived through it, they got out of Bolivia, and they rode off into the sunset somehow, one way or another, and it would be him And ideally, obviously, pick one: Robert Redford or my man Paul Newman there. But ideally, just because they were characters from the original, it would be unreal if they had done a sequel to Butch and Sundance that was Clint and Jeff Bridges as Sundance. That would have been one of the coolest fucking things ever. I I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, or well, the age gap is pretty big. Can't remember. Me and Simon came up with a really good idea that they should have done. That will never happen because there's no possibility of it ever happening because everyone's too old and the time was flown by. Um, what was the other one? Oh, right. Uh, that was another one we came up with. Let me know what you think about that. Jeff Bridges and Woody Harrelson. That would have been a good lineup right there. Just both with full beards, all grown out, just hiding in the brush. You know, that would have been a good one. And 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 Bridges could just be just like Butch was, and just be like, you know, the banks down there are real good. Let's just go down there and Woody would just be like, you just keep thinking, Butch, that's what you're good at. And let's go. Hop on your horse. Let's go. Move it on. I don't know. Call me a fucking country nerd, but I've watched Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, I think, in my opinion, personally, and I don't care what anyone ever fucking says or thinks, is the best movie ever made of all time. And if you don't like that, you can go fuck yourself. That's just how I roll. George Roy Hill is one of the best directors ever, period. Um, that's just that. That's just that. I mean, and if you haven't seen any of the other movies that he utilized those two actors, such as the what's the gambling one where they run the fucking scheme? The Snatch, the Steel, have it somewhere over there. Anyways, whatever. Robert Redford and Paul Newman. Just watch any movie that they're in together, and they're uncanny. They're unreal, and it doesn't even matter if it's both of them. The Natural, Robert Redford, the baseball player. Come on, Cool Hand Luke, Robert Redford. Like homeboy ate 49 eggs. Come on, no other inmate did that shit. It was a different time in theater, but I don't know, bro. I know you're more of a, like we were on before about Marvel and shit. Why do you think that Hollywood excommunicated uh fuck uh the dude that played Hulk first? Oh, he's a great. He was
Ruffalo.
no, before him. Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
I just brain farted myself. What happened? What happened? Where did he go?
Oh fuck.
I know, I got you right.
His name's right there. Yeah.
And
I've seen. Oh,
Marvel
Norton.
replaced him with Mark Ruffalo. Like what the fuck?
Edward Norton. I've seen him in a few
Ah,
things since then.
like what?
I don't know. I have seen him in something recent.
Oh no, you haven't.
He was in that Knives Out series on Netflix. That's what I was thinking of. I saw him in recently. I don't know if you saw any of those, but
I didn't.
and sounds like he was a voice on Birdman
What the hell is
in
that?
2014. Some series.
That's a decade ago. What the fuck else has he been doing?
2024, A Complete Unknown. What that is.
What the fuck?
He was in Asteroid City last year.
Oh, I got it right here. This is another one that we have to catch up on.
So not a
It's like,
huge amount of stuff in the last 10 years, but there's some stuff here.
oh, now I remember. Because back in like 2008 or 2009, after something he was in, that's what it was. He was talking about whatever his faith was. I don't remember whether he's a Catholic or a Christian or whatever. But I believe that, is a big part of why he was kind of like washed away in that sense. And also that was the beginning of the Me Too movement, and I mean he was the main character in American History X. So we can't have the guy that had the tattoo that said, I hate I get it. I get it. I mean, but it's like, yo, you guys are the dicks that cast him. Hollywood is a horrifying place, full of ghouls and goblins that don't relate to anything except the Antichrist. They're all devil worshippers. I mean, like, who are these young rappers these days? Little Nas X? What? Okay, first off, you can't come up with a more original name. You gotta take one of the all-time greats name as the center point of your rap name, being Nas, and then you wear like spandex and have blood pouring everywhere in your music videos and doing all weird shit. Like, I I just don't know where we lost so much touch, and I don't mean that in a touchy way. It's like just lost touch with reality, maybe. Diddy, Jay Z, the list goes on. People, you can do your own homework. I'm not going to drag that out. Sure, Greg will post some links that you can find and follow, but it's just like, how did it get so. Just think about like Big Pun or Pac, Biggie, Big L. Like, what? When did it just go so sideways? I don't know. I guess I was sleeping for a long time. I don't really understand it. It's like all of a sudden it was like, you know, a revival from 1999 to 2005 was the revival of real hip hop. You had upcoming stars like Game, 50, all backed by M. Dre. They were all just this big conglomerate of money making, bad, old school rapping motherfuckers. They didn't give a shit. They're like, no, no, no. We make the market. You buy the music. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, it just right out the fucking door. I don't know what happened, you know? I don't get it. Like, what happened on the music we grew up with? Why did it just like, it was almost like a sudden stop. Like, it hit a brick wall, and then we have all these little weirdos. And then, you know, I don't want to get too far into it. I don't want to offend anyone, whatever, but it's just like, all right, I'll just put it as cleanly as this: guns, gangsters, Rolls Royces, and trans have literally nothing to do with each other. So when the fuck did they have a baby? And that's all I'll say about
Interesting.
it. Am I wrong?
I'm not sure what that means, but, but
When
I
did
don't know.
some OG motherfucker like 50 and Dre and M and Suge Knight hop in a car with a bunch of dudes wearing tights, worshipping the devil? And then they all just, what, got along? No, that makes zero sense. Think about many, 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 many men with that upon me. God, I don't lie no more. Don't look to the sky no more. 50, all them dudes back then, super. Every single one of them crosses everywhere. Welded on their body, whether it was tattooed or it was stamped. They're men of God. And then all of a sudden, the industry just went straight devil. I just don't understand how that happened so quick. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I figured
Yeah,
I'd
I don't know, man.
I figured I'd just make a point of it. It's something that it's really just weird to me. Like who paid who to say what and preach what. It's just kind of bizarre. And then you got to think about like some of the other rappers that were like super prominent when you and I were younger, like Cameron and dudes like that. Like, where did they disappear to? And why? Did they just leave because they didn't want to fight? Or they didn't want to bend over? Or they didn't. What? What happened? It's just really weird. The music industry and the entertainment industry is just really like hollow in that sense. There's not really, you can't really put your eggs in too many baskets regarding why or how things happen in high powered millionaire entertainment, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've seen over the last 20 years since I actually had a brain that I chose to use. You know what I mean? Like, you and I have spent hundreds, if not thousands, of hours just stoned out of our minds listening to all sorts of different music. So when, which is awesome, because when you peel the layers off of things and you, oh, sorry, I'm holding my beer.
Oh,
You,
you're good. We're almost an hour.
but you know what I'm saying. When you start to peel the layers off of things, you start to see this kind of shit, and that goes back to what we were talking about the other day about how it's like almost all it's almost evident that all professional sports are like scripted. You know, what are we 1-7?
I think now we are, yeah. The Pat, yeah. Yeah, I mean, our new quarterback's looking pretty good, but tough when
Yeah,
he doesn't have
our
much
offensive
support.
line sucks. They're terrible.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough watching this season, but I'm in it for the long haul, so it is what
You
it is.
remember what was that? 2008? Oh, I'd say it was 2007, maybe 2007. Is that the third quarter? Pretty sure we were playing at home. Maybe we were in Buffalo. Tom Brady throws 5 touchdown passes in the third quarter.
Yes, I think you sent me a clip. I think that was 2009.
8, right around there, yeah.
Yeah, in the snow, right?
In the snow, in
Yeah.
one quarter, 35 points in the air. Randy Moss caught 2 of them effortlessly.
Whoever that announcer was on Tom Brady's dick. He was like,
So was
I've
I.
never seen anything like this before. It's amazing. And it
Well,
was, but him and Moss are just like so amazing together. It's
it's
incredible.
still a standing record. No one has ever scored 5 touchdowns in the air in one quarter. Brady, that's why he was on his dick, just like you and I were. That no one's ever done that, and
Yeah,
no
that's
one will
wild.
ever do that in flying snow ever again. Hands down, that'll never happen again. I don't care who people talk about this ginger, half Irish, half black Patrick Mahomes kid. You can whatever. Call me a racist if you want. It has nothing to do with it. But they're already saying this kid's the best of all time. Okay, okay. When he's having a bad day and he throws 5 touchdowns in one quarter in 6 inches of fucking flying snow, give me a call. Tell me I'm wrong. Tom Brady is the best of all time. Hands down. 49, right? 49
He's the boat.
touchdown passes.
He's the boat.
Who 49 touchdown passes in one season? And Randy was what, 23 receptions of said 49? Another record that will never be beat. I mean, this dude would just Randy would just have this ear to ear grin, just jogging down the field. Like, look at these safeties in these corners. Like, no one can just one handed. Ha 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 touchdown. This is like, dude, I still want to fucking nuke New York for losing that Super Bowl, but that's a separate story. But that you know what? As far as I'm concerned, we were so blessed. So the amount of victories we got to witness was just uncanny. And that being said, I don't really care about any of that shit any longer. I did back then, but I don't anymore because it just still, no matter what, how bad my day is, if I pull up those highlights, it still just gives me a gas. I'm just like, I'm on with get some. It's like, just, I mean, and that was when they started doing the speedometer by yardage for players that were running to receive and shit like that, like Randy. And there was one, I remember this one, it was like game 4. I don't know who we were playing, but it was a really nice fall day at Foxborough. And from the line to 40 yards from wherever Randy took off, his 40-yard dash in real time, in game, what did he mark? 4.4, 4.3 in the combine? In actual game time, all jacked up. Like, I'm catching that motherfucking ball. And he's just, boom, like a missile. 3.9 second 40-yard dash. That's real time. When you're doing it, when a bunch of people are looking at you, judging you like, oh, this guy got a 4.2, that's a record. I mean, yo, you're talking about a 12-year veteran pulling a 3.9? Dude, no one could catch him. That was the best. Uh, I'm just. over it. Don't get too emotional about it. I just wish we still had that. But like I said, we gotta be thankful for what we got to see. So
Yeah,
that
for
is what it
sure.
is. I mean, I'll never forget. We expected. I don't know what happened with the shuttle. I mean, all the other birds from campus were supposed to come over, but hey, I'm glad they didn't because they would have distracted us. Super
Hmm.
Bowl 30, Super Bowl 39 was just me, you, and MK, and no one to bother us. Just slamming down Miller Lights and fucking what was um not Asante. Come on. Who's our safety back then?
Oh God. Um.
They told us we could do it. Defense wins championships. Come on. Come on. Oh, we're such dubs. We got wet brain.
So long ago.
I know.
I
I
don't
know.
remember.
Well, we're no good if we try to pull out of this without. Oh, come on. They call him. Where's our safety? Free safety. The beat. He was a fucking animal. Oh, man. Come on now. Now I'm getting real pissed off with my brain. Come on, brain. I feel like Ricky in fucking Trailer Park Boys.
I just
Ah,
watched a clip of him showing off his house that he made on top of his car.
yeah. Yep.
He's like, "Here's my downstairs bathroom. It's a
You
fucking
haven't
porta
seen that
potty
season?
on the
That's
side
like
of his
season
car."
10 or something.
I don't even. I mean, I've seen so much of it. I don't know what I've seen, what I haven't seen at this point. Still funny though.
They
He's
have
like, "Here's my urinal. It goes down this tube to the downstairs bathroom."
yeah. Raw I didn't still loading. Just remembered
Oh, your
Rodney
Wi-Fi
fucking
is off.
Harrison.
Oh,
It's not even it
yeah.
won't even load. Oh,
Your
there it
Wi-Fi
finally
is off.
goes. But I remembered because he's my favorite. And dude, who was there? The Eagles. That wasn't no. Dante Culpepper was the Vikings back then. Donovan McNabb threw that pick, and Rodney picked it and ran it all the way down the field. Dude,
Shit's wild.
unreal.
Good times. Good times.
Dude, so spoiled. Same here. Just before that, 4 months prior, the Red Sox won their first World Series since 2000 what? 16? I mean, 1916 rather.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah. Well, I'll
it
save
was
my questions for next episode. Um, so
kind of
much
close.
for
What are you getting on about?
so much for keeping it familiar. Well, remember an hour ago I said I want to keep it familiar, ask some personal questions, and here we are, 59 minutes and 30 seconds.
I thought we were gonna keep it light. Maybe I lost the idea.
Hmm.
Why? What personal questions are you saying? Let's get one in, and then you can edit something else out.
All right. All right. No, we can go over a little bit. I'll ask one here. I just wanted to know if did you have like a specific um, present or toy in general from your like teen years that just sticks out in your mind that was like a game changer for you?
Yeah, it's might have brought it back down to the car. Actually, it's might be right. Hold on one second. It's right. No, it's right. Yeah, hold on.
Unexpected. He's like, yeah, stay here, hold on. Oh,
Bobby, you do, Bob. Fat little fucker. Yeah, you go run away and go hide wherever you want. I don't care. Boom sauce.
oh no shit.
Yeah, dude, original.
That's cool.
Yep. This is what Matchboxes. This thing came in a cardboard box, and they don't make them like they used to. This thing, you look close, it
Fat.
has it has little suspension ribs that go from side to side. So it actually has fucking suspension. Like I'm not even fucking kidding. They don't make shit like this like that. This thing's probably. I mean, I don't even. My fucking stupid humongous hand is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this. There. Yep. I can't feel this.
Take your word for it.
Hold on. Hold
Dun, 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 dun.
on. Ugh. Man. Oh. 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 How do I fucking angle the camera correctly? Ta-da.
Oh, oh, shit.
Why do I have to turn this thing like upside down? I'm wearing Lord right now.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, fuck me.
So you can edit this for comedic value, and everyone else can fuck off. But see, it's not. You don't even. Boom. There it is. It's a Land Rover. It has these little shock things in it.
Oh,
Yeah. But
yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know why
shit.
it's so hard to angle this camera. Anyways, it's
Oh,
this.
it's too much.
I've had this thing. I've had this since I was 13 when I got sent to wilderness. I found it when I was in a solo. Maybe some little kid left in the fucking woods. I don't know. And I was like, that fucking thing's rad. And I've, whatever, I held on to it. I've had it ever since. It was
That's
13.
cool, man.
Oh, so yeah, 27 years ago.
Damn.
Just found the fucking thing out of the blue.
Well, that's way better than mine. I, I, a game changer for me was when I got N64 when I was about the same age. I think I was around 13, and
Yeah. Yep.
my best friend at the time, I'm still good friends with him, Kevin. You met him at my wedding, my bachelor party, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but he always had like three different consoles. He had like a Sega Sonic and a fucking PlayStation, and he had the fucking all the shit. So I
Yeah.
was always jealous, and always wanted something. I got that N64, I think, for my birthday, and dude, I just love that thing. It was a game changer for me. Only console my parents ever bought me. Maybe a
You
Game
still
Boy.
have it?
Gosh, pretty sure I pawned it when I was like 16, 17, probably for some pills. I pawned a lot of stuff back.
Being a dumb. Yeah.
16, 17, around there.
I was looking when I was packing up. That was something that really meant a lot to me. Was my um, Game Boy Color. Game Boy Color came out in like '96, I think, and it was purple. If you remember of seeing one, they were like purple, and they were way smaller than a normal Game Boy, but they had a bigger screen, and they were like see through, so you could see all the guts and shit.
Yeah, I
And
do remember that.
I had Zelda. Um, Dad got me that before he sent me in my first wilderness program, like a dildo. What was that? Oh, it was like, what was the one that we played on Super Nintendo? A Link Before Time, right? And the character
Oh, Zelda,
name was
yeah.
Link that was trying to save Zelda, correct?
Yes, yep.
It was like I think it was called the Flute of Time, and it
Oh,
was
Orknea of Time, or something like that. Ocarina.
something like that. Well, that might have been for the larger handheld Nintendo that came out later on. But either way,
Yeah,
they
it's the
only did
same. It was the flute. That's what he called that flute, was the ocarina or something like that.
Ocarina of Time. Yeah, there you go. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, dude, and that was the first handheld color console. And I was looking, dude, I was like so frantic because I thought that was still in my possession. And I totally lost memory because that was like the worst year of boarding school was junior year at Tilton. Brent got kicked out, and me and Brent we were like kind of like we were kind of like uh I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. We were kind of like just those sidekick motherfuckers that came from a different plane, surrounded by a bunch of fucking rich kids, and it's like, yeah, our parents were good back then too, but at the same time, it wasn't about that. It was like we were just like Jay and Silent Bob. We didn't give
Brothers
a
from
fuck.
another mother. Yeah, yeah.
We didn't give a fuck about that. That school just had this like pyramid of coolness and popularity, and we are like, ah, you guys split a 30 rack between 10 of you? You guys are fucking queer. We just fucking downed one of these between the two of us and slept in the field down the road last Saturday, you fucking clowns. Like, we were just on a different level, you know?
Yeah.
And so they just had like this inlaid kind of like weird grip of like who's cool and who isn't and who's popular. And me and Brent were just like, you guys are all a bunch of fuckers. Like, we don't care about anything you say. Like, we had, because there was, these boarding schools and college prep schools, you know how they are. There's day students and shit. And we were friends with a bunch of them. So it's like, we just take off for the weekend and go get fucking hammered and go bang college girls that thought we were in college. He had he had a copy of our buddy Adam's college ID, and I had a copy of my brother's college ID. He'd be like, "Yeah, I go to fucking Carolina," and I'm like, "Yeah, I go to Boulder." And dude, we're like 16, banging fucking
Mhm.
19-year-olds getting hammered. So all these kids like hated us because they're like, I guess we were like outsiders in their opinion. I don't know how teenage brains work, really. I guess that's they're like we have to like destroy these kids. I don't know. I guess it like threaten their masculinity or whatever. But they're just
Yeah.
like, dude, we just get home or back on campus Sunday afternoon or whatever, like decrepitly hungover, and yeah, all these motherfuckers are just like these fucking guys. How do they fucking pull this shit off? So they snitched us out and got both of us kicked out of school. And that's the
Oh
way that.
shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Damn.
yeah. What's the Bring it on, bring it on. What do you got for another question?
Oh. Um. Let's see. Um. Favorite? Do you have a memory that stands out from a family trip that you guys took?
Uh, did I tell you this on a podcast or not when Dad came to get me at summer camp?
I don't think so.
Okay. So when I was 10 years old, I went to summer camp for the first time out in the Northern Valley in Northern California. It's can't remember the valley off the top of my brain because you asking me that question just made it kind of go haywire. It'll come to me, but it's Douglas Ranch Camp. It was a formal camp where, in that sense, they had a merit-based program. Um, all meals were very standard in terms of like British manners, if you will.
Hmm.
Where you pass things, you're not, didn't matter if you're right or left handed. You're cutting with your right hand and you're eating with your left hand. So that's why when I go to fancy dinners, my brain still goes to that. It was cool. It wasn't like restrictive or anything. They were just very oriented in that like sense of manners, and they had this merit based system. So like if you punked somebody, for example, like you're just walking from point A to point B on the ranch, and like you do the classic swipe someone's foot out from behind them when they're walking and they trip and fall over, and everyone points and laughs when you're that young age, then you get a demerit and you can't do your favorite activity, whatever it is,
Hmm.
whatever. Anyhow, so I went with my buddy Drew Clancy. He had gone there the year before by himself, and he did a single session. And he decided to do a single session again, and I stayed because I was all camp riflery and archery. And I wanted to fucking win those trophies more than anything. I wanted to be that city slicker from fucking Massachusetts that beat all these kids from who the fuck knows where they are. I'm almost in Washington, fucking Northern California. So Drew leaves, he goes home, I stay, I win my trophies, and all the other parents show up, right? And this is really cool. This is really cool. This is like something you don't experience ever. Most people. I'm looking around and I feel like I'm the only person in the world. I see all these kids and their parents coming to pick them up, and I'm just spinning and spinning and spinning, just expecting what I was told, that I was gonna get on a shuttle and I was gonna go to the airport and I was gonna fly back to Boston. And Dad managed to mingle, and hide in the crowd. And he saw me with a face full of fucking tears, taps me on the shoulder, I spin around. There he was. Boom.
No shit.
3,500 miles away from home. He didn't have either of his, back then he always had, that was 1994. So he had a Starlink for outgoing and a Starlink for incoming for business. And he didn't have any phones with him. He didn't have shit. He had his credit card. He had a map. And he had me. So, so he had this little RAV4. And he throws me in that little truck. And we, no, it wasn't a RAV4. My bad. It was a Suzuki Samurai. So we went from there and traipsed down towards San Francisco. We drove that little truck through the redwood forest when you could still drive through the trees back then.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a fucking animal when it came to rental cars. He would just, oh, look, there's a stream. Oh, there's a river. And he'd just floor it and just smash through it. He didn't give a fuck. And then when the thing finally shit the bed, we got horses. He's like, he just saw some Spanish guys. We got burritos or some shit. And the fucking rental car was the little samurai was acting up. And he just hails these guys over and he's like, hey, we need another rental car. And they're like, oh, we got horses. And well, he was like, okay. He goes, Allie, want to go horseback riding? I'm like, Dad, I've been horseback riding all fucking summer at this place. He's like, well, then we fucking go. So we go on horseback for like 100 miles to the next,
Oh my god.
for the next rental car place. I mean, it wasn't like 100 miles straight. We stopped and stayed at a wicked nice fucking place right on the ocean in Northern California. I mean, it wasn't all that hardcore. But we get down to the next car rental place and like, oh, Mr. Hans, okay. Where's the samurai? And he goes, oh, it's 75, 80 miles up that way next to a stream. It just decided it didn't want to run anymore. And they're like, didn't want to run anymore. And he's just like, I need a fucking car. I'm going to miss a flight. And he just like completely flipped a switch. And they just threw him keys. And they're like, hey, just get out of the office. You're scaring us. And we just drove away. But
yeah, that's funny.
it's that was the coolest inflection point in my life was going. We went from not Sarasito. I can't remember the name of the valley off the top of my head, but just traveling down, just traipsing, and we finally got to San Francisco, and that's when those round like soda can things like this mug, they're just straight hollow, and you could throw them like a frisbee or a football, but they go for like a mile. And
Oh
we
yeah,
got
yeah.
those. Yeah, dude, we got one of those, and we're right above the what's the stupid fucking famous bridge? The
Golden Gate.
yeah. Yeah, so we're in Golden Gate Park, throwing that thing like 3 football fields, and it was cloudy and it got cold, and
What was that thing called? The can can something.
I
I
can't
remember
remember.
those. I had one of those.
They were fucking awesome, dude.
Those things are cool, yeah. I don't
Dude,
know why they didn't keep, I don't know why they didn't keep making those.
I don't understand how that's not like an ultimate frisbee sport like utility vehicle like item. Like doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Like seriously. But yeah, we're chucking that thing, and it got cloudy and cold, and then it was time for our flight. And I was looking back. I'm like, I don't ever want to fucking leave here, Dad. And he's like, hey, watch your fucking mouth. I don't either. But you gotta think about it. We traveled 1,200 miles just fucking off. You know, that was the coolest thing that
That's
ever
cool.
happened in my life. Just the last thing you'd expect. The busiest guy you've ever known in your life. Your old man who's a businessman who's fucking driving down the road with cell phone in each ear, fucking trying to write a sticky note and eat a muffin at the same time, standing with his fucking knees. Like, dude. And that's the guy that comes up with nothing. No way of communicating with anything home. Just being like, hey, son, 10 years old? Sit. Sit.
Yeah, that's good, man. Again, way better than mine. Fuck. So much so, I'm gonna have to think about it, and we'll open with mine next week. Because, dude, I had one in mind, and then you started saying yours, and then I'm like, shit, this is way more sentimental than mine was. I'm like, so then I was starting to think about some other experiences, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to process this a little more.
It was just
Yeah,
a different breed, man. I don't know. I don't know,
that
man.
is true.
You met him.
I did. He was a very unique guy.
What else you got?
Let's wrap it up.
Challenge me. Challenge me.
Oh, fuck, man. That's
That's the
really
best.
all
That's
I
the
got
best
for the
memory of
most
my
part.
fucking life, right there.
That is a good one, my brother. That is a good
Yeah.
one. Um, I just in closing, did you happen to see that? I forget what state it's in, but that guy that's projecting the Trump sign on the side of that water tower.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that guy's the
Dude,
man.
they got so mad at him, and I don't know if you saw, but they put up a generator with a spotlight so it drowns out the sign because they can't
Yeah, yeah.
stop him from doing it.
This town of Hanson Municipal Water Tower on High Street has become the talk of the town.
He has a right to do it, but at the same point, it's got to be respectful.
Paul Riley lives right near the tower. He says he became a little bothered once the town started using their resources Friday night to blur the Trump 2024 image.
You shouldn't tie up police and other resources for something like that.
We tried to talk to the man who has the projector on his property to display the image. We just wanted to know if we could talk to you about the tower. He shook his head inside the door, saying no. Hanson officials say displaying this image violates the town's bylaws and misleads the public to believe this activity is condoned. They do not allow any political endorsements on municipal property, but they do respect free speech rights of all residents. The town says a lot of taxpayer dollars may be spent, including attorney fees and paying workers overtime to turn this spotlight on and off each day. The town says the resident could be fined $100 per day if it continues.
Yep. Yep. They were talking about that on Howie Carr the other afternoon.
So funny. I thought that was pretty funny because it's like, yeah, it's his First Amendment right to do that, but we don't want him to, so we're gonna spend tax dollars to
Yeah.
block it out. Pretty
Yep.
interesting.
Fucking right.
All right. So again, I'm gonna put the link in the episode description. Dubby.gg, dubby.gg. Promo
I'll
code
never get that right.
Huh?
I'll never get that right.
Promo code MAAD for 10% off your first order, and they do have cans as well. You can they have the powder, they have cans as well. It's some pretty cool merch on there. I got a hat coming, so I'll wear that next episode.
I didn't mean that facetiously. It's not like I wouldn't try to remember it. I just the all these weird spellings of all these weird apps and all these weird websites. I'm just like, yo, can we just call something like? Why do you have to make it so complicated? Just call it fuck ass, for crying out loud. Fuckass.com.
Well, there is a. I think there's a.
Shitbag.com.
Well, I won't say the name of it, but there is another energy brand with fuck in the title, I think.
No, it's fucking stinkydick.com. Fucking poop dick. There we go. That's an energy drink for you.
Poop dick.
You want to wake up, puke, and be all fucking exhilarated? Poop dick dot fucking ox. Let's get weird. Poopdick.org. Well, might as well just buy them all up.
Chances are that exists already. Poopdick.org. Oh boy.
No.
All right, brother. It's been real. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you all for tuning in. I love you, brother. I will until next time. All right, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. Peace out, peoples.
Peace.